And we're going to welcome to the show now Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer. He's a retired Marine intelligence officer who, during his time in service, served as director of a task force that dealt with natural disasters and man-made disasters as well. You're also the host of the Strat podcast. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. As time does go by, how much more dire is this, particularly for these very young little girls who potentially could be hanging onto a tree somewhere? That's where rescuers say they are finding people, is on very high ground or hanging on to trees.
Anna, for search and rescue, time is of the essence. I mean, they're getting out there with everything they can. They got people on the ground. They're going to be using high clearance vehicles to move through these areas where it's difficult to go through because of floodwaters and also because of mud and everything else that's out there. Using helicopters, using drones, probably have fixed wing aircraft flying higher. One of the things the military brings to it is things like forward-looking infrared radar. They can pick up on things that could be missed visually. And that's important because if you look at the amount of debris flow, somebody could be caught in a tree, in brush or something where if you just flew by or you drove by visually, you might not pick them up. But if you can pick up that heat signature, then you can go in there, take a look and see if you can find them. And that, again, goes back to time. The quicker, the faster they can get in there, the more people could be rescued, could be found alive.
Hal, what can we learn from this? You know, the National Weather Service was predicting some flooding, but only 3 to 5 feet. So you imagine they were bracing for heavy rainfall, but nothing like this. And then they got the 26 feet in a matter of 45 minutes. There's not a whole lot you can do. What can we learn from this as far as, you know, better forecasting or better alerts, or not even residing in areas there?
Well, a little bit of all of that. You know, first off, there are a number of not just campgrounds, but people move into areas that are in flood zones. And of course, that's very dangerous. I think we need to reevaluate some of the ways that we look at the flooding. We've seen a number of cases, not just in Texas, but elsewhere around the country, where these floods come up very fast. And it's not just the amount of rainfall. You know, they're looking at rainfall 4 to 6 inches, but it's the topography. You have to look at what is it falling on. You know, this hill country area of Texas, you know, I'm very familiar with that. I've been out there. I've done Homeland Security work out there. And I will tell you that it'll channelize or canalize that water. And so what you end up with is this massive flood that comes through, and it's a flash flood. So it's not just the amount of water, it's the force, the kinetic force of that water that makes it so difficult for anybody to get out of there. So they're going to have to look at the models. They're also going to look at, you know, synoptic intervals of their source of weather data. Are they getting the most current weather data? And then are they turning that around? It's not just the observation. How quick can you orient that to a decision to take action to get people out of harm's way? That's what they have to really focus on. And it's not just this. This is true in wildfires. It's true in other disasters as well.
And it has become political already, as folks are blaming the National Weather Service and then pointing to cuts in staffing and federal budget cuts as well. If you don't mind, stay with us. We're monitoring this press conference. Lieutenant Colonel Hal Kempfer, thank you so much. We are monitoring